Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. Now this video is going to be sort of a follow-up to my last video, which was a video response to the Yankee Marshal and the video that he posted on the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield and its deadly flaw. And he was talking about the safety and the situation that came up with his firearm. Now in my video, in the comments section, there was quite a few folks that talked about simply gluing the safety or pinning it back or somehow defeating that safety. And I wanted to address that in a video because I would never recommend anyone doing anything such as that. Over the years of taking some courses about self-defense and carrying firearms and things of that nature, many instructors will, because they feel that it's so important, include in their information talking about the legalities of self-defense shootings using a firearm and some of the pitfalls that some very good people who were definitely being attacked found themselves in a lot more trouble because of alterations that they made to their firearms. Okay? The most notable of these instructors is an individual named Masad Ayoub, and he has written many articles in gun magazines and things of that nature where he actually is talking about real cases in court, and some of them he's been involved with and some of them he hasn't been involved with, but we're using them to make a point about one thing or another. He has a law enforcement background, and he has a lot of background in instruction of law enforcement and instruction of civilians. He actually developed a course for lawyers on how to defend citizens who use a firearm in self-defense. Okay, and he has, because of that course got him a lot of acclaim from different bar associations and things of that nature across the nation. And he has been recognized as somebody that is an expert on the subject. Okay. Now I took a course from him years back from Lethal Force Institute that was just about the legalities of using a firearm for defense. And man, that was just packed with a ton of information, and all of it was case law. Everything was based off of case law. And he talked about alterations of a firearm and modifications of a firearm, and how some of that could really come back and make your defense very difficult. Okay. Now, one thing he said, the most prevalent alteration to a firearm that gets good people in trouble is what he called the hair trigger. Okay. And he talked about how prosecutors or maybe other lawyers in a civil matter will use the fact that you altered a trigger to this hair trigger argument that he often talked about, where the mindset of the individual must have had an intent to use the gun to shoot someone. The individual must have an irresponsible way of thinking and all these other things to confuse a jury or maybe a judge, depending upon who is actually going to be making the decision on the case, to the point where even if you were justified in the use of the firearm itself makes you lose the case, either criminally or civilly. Okay. And he had just one case after another, where and he was talking about the trends in our court system. Now I know a lot of you right now are going, oh no, this, that, and the other. I know this and I know that. This is a guy that's an expert. All right. So your problem is not with me. It's with an acknowledged expert. Now we'll move on to another subject matter, and that is defeating of safeties. And that is something that he says is just a big no-no. Why would you want to defeat a safety on your firearm? To a non-gun person, that's going to look irresponsible or that you had some sort of evil intent. And that is exactly what the prosecution, or in a civil case, another lawyer is going to key in on. And all of a sudden, these little things called the actual facts of the case aren't as important as the mindset, the responsibility, and all these other things that these opposing individuals are going to make about you. So really, that's the point of my video, and that's what I wanted to get across to you folks. Defeating a safety on a firearm is not a good idea if you ever use that firearm in a self-defense situation. That is going to become part of the case. And that's a fact. And now, you're going to have to defend yourself and the reason for using the firearm. And then you're also going to have to defend the fact that you defeated the safety on the firearm. And in many cases, you're either going to be in front of a judge and or a jury that are not going to be gun people. And even if they are, they may not agree with what you've done. And you could find yourself in criminal and civil trouble. Okay? So again, I'm going to say, when you start talking about things like defeating a safety, if there's a safety on a firearm and you don't like it, then don't use that firearm for defense. Okay? That's a much better conclusion than to pin it back or somehow other method gluing it back or whatever to defeat the trigger. Simply choose a different gun. Okay? Now again, these are not my opinions. All right? I know some of you guys are biting at the bit, to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you need to take it up with the experts. And matter of fact, I challenge you to find any industry-leading expert on firearms and their use in defense that will say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with defeating safety. I challenge you. So don't tell me what you think. Tell me what they think. All right, folks. I appreciate you watching my videos. These are things that we must consider if we're going to include a firearm in our defense. So thank you again, and remember to shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.